country of New Zealand. I have an American accent because I was born here in America and lived most of my life here, but have been living in the country of New Zealand for 15 years. In the month of April of 2009, I had an operation for a deviated septum, a septoplasty, that went horribly wrong, leaving me with a hole, or medically more correct, perforation in my septum measuring about 1.5 centimeters by 1 centimeter, which is considered as perforations in septums on the large side. There was constant small degree of pain when around the perforation would become dry, and I was having to inject my nose sometimes up to 15-20 times a day with an emollient, just to keep myself happy and stop myself from going crazy with this dry feeling in my nose. The doctor assured me on my first and second visit after the operation, first one that everything looked good. The second one, he said, it looks like you're going to have a bit of a perforation in your septum. Don't worry about it. We can fix it. Don't worry about it. And then by the third visit, I could see some consternation on his face. He was getting a little worried, and he let me know that I was going to have another operation. He just basically said, get on the internet and find a rhinologist in the country of New Zealand to do this work. I went to see one on my own who warned me not to be a guinea pig, and he said I would not attempt to do this corrective surgery for the perforation. Warned me to only get someone who really knew what they were doing, which was worth the visit just to get this advice, actually. I then went on to see 1, 2, 3, 4 more doctors with interviews, getting on airplanes to go to various towns, small cities in New Zealand, to have it evaluated and try to decide who to use. We had been on the internet trying to find a doctor in New Zealand and anywhere in the world, frankly, who had the background to do this corrective surgery, which is very delicate, very difficult, what I've learned. And we kept Googling it up and couldn't find it. And the reason why is we were using the word hole, and we weren't using the word perforation. My wife is helping me. She's a journalist, graduated from the University of Florida. She looks up nasal septal perforation, and all of a sudden a whole new world opens up to us, starting with stories about the English supermodel who had this perforation. And then we scroll on down and find Dr. Kridel here in Houston, Texas, who put a website specifically targeting the fact that he has great experience fixing septal perforations. One of the few doctors to be even on the web about this, because there aren't any in the world or that really know how to do this one, or I should say there are very few. So then we hit upon Dr. Kridel and called him on the phone the next day and just started asking questions. And I had already had some photographs done of the hole in my septum in Atlanta by a plastic surgeon, and we forwarded them out here for them to look at. I then made an appointment. We flew out to see Dr. Kridel for the first time. I had the surgery done a little over 2 weeks ago. Dr. Kridel was just in the office a moment ago to pronounce that the perforation is totally healed, that the graft that he carefully put in is taking hold. All is well so far as what he could see. And he just told me this about 5 minutes ago, And I'm kind of on cloud nine right now, floating around with relief over all of this, based upon what I've been through, and I'm very thankful that I found Dr. Kridel. Having interviewed numerous doctors in the country of New Zealand, who all proved to be, they just didn't really know how to do it. I could tell. I would certainly recommend Dr. Kridel. Dr. Kridel, it seems, has literally written the book on this operation. I just don't know where I would even begin to go anywhere else on this planet to have a perforation as big as the one I had done by anyone else. But once they get to the size that I had, you've just got to have someone with the delicate hand and the experience that knows what they're doing. Otherwise, you're really taking a big risk.